I'm so much happier now. Happier than I've ever been.
Honey, the fashion, the dyke drama. I have missed this show. I have missed this show so much. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about this season, and it's only episode 2. Oh. Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video I'm just going to be reviewing episode 2, season 2 of Gentleman Jack. Now, I did find the pacing in episode 2 a little bit slower than the pacing in episode 1, but I still very much enjoyed this episode, and I really feel like this episode was about setting up the overall arc, and this episode was very much kind of a setup for the drama which is inevitably going to unfold this season, and I am alert. So the episode begins with Anne relaying her adventures to Anne Walker in a restaurant in Paris, and here we are introduced to Tib, also known as Miss Norcliffe, and Tib really kind of gives us an insight into, well, in her own words, into Anne's very fruity past. It's not really news that Anne Lister is a bit of a womanizer, but Tib definitely confirms this, and yeah, I think this trip to Paris is a bit eye-opening for Anne Walker because she begins to realise that Anne, you know, may have visited the honey pot before. So Anne and Anne visit the Alps, and Anne Lister looks gorgeous in her hiking getup. She just, chef's kiss. And I really love this moment when they visited the Alps. It was so romantic, and everything they do is romantic, let's face it. But whilst this is happening, there is a meeting taking place about the Anne's relationship, and we could see from the first episode of season 2 that there was a growing concern around their relationship, and we have to remember this is the 1800s, so the Annes having such a close relationship and women choosing not to be married is going to be a source of concern and definitely rife for gossip, which of course is what's happening this episode. You know, word is really starting to kind of spread around about the Anne's relationship, and there's a lot of concern, particularly around Anne Walker. I should say this is mostly due to her finances, but I do obviously think there's a conversation which very much alludes to Anne Walker keeping Anne Lister's company. And what's interesting about this show is, of course, you get a window into attitudes towards lesbianism in the 19th century, and for a lot of the 19th century, the topic was very much kind of avoided, particularly in polite society. There was so much silence around homosexuality, particularly lesbianism, and nobody really had the kind of language to describe, you know, lesbian relationships. So you can see this reflected in the show. You can see how they can't really put a name on what's happening, but they do associate it with immorality and something that kind of goes against the natural order. So Mariana is quite interesting in this episode. She is still kind of persisting with her pursuit of Anne Lister. She's still very much sending her letters, and you can see this is getting to Anne emotionally, and you can see that Anne Walker is picking up on this. You can definitely see the kind of subtle concern that is growing in Anne Walker, you know, in relation to finding out about Mariana, and she can see kind of Anne's emotional reaction to these letters. So yeah, I quite enjoy Jealous Anne Walker. Not gonna lie, I'm quite enjoying it. I'm really sorry, I am enjoying the dyke drama this season so much. I just live for all of this. I know it's awful, but I have nothing else in my life, so this is it. I need it. I just want to talk about Anne Walker in that top hat. It is divine. I adored the fashion, particularly in this episode, and everybody just looks so good. There's quite a touching speech between Marion and Anne Lister's aunt where they're talking about Anne, and I feel like Anne Lister's aunt kind of knows the true nature of the Anne's relationship, and she has a subtle acceptance of it, whereas I feel like Marianne is a little bit more naive about the true nature of the Anne's relationship and who her sister is as a person. I don't think she quite grasps it. You have to remember, in the 1800s, there would have been little to no exposure of lesbians or lesbian relationships. They didn't even have the language to articulate female homosexuality. They just would have been quite ignorant about it. So I think the show does a good job of kind of portraying the awareness yet the silence. And their only associations of homosexuality would be with kind of immorality. You can imagine it was spicy times. So Anne ends up reading Anne Walker the letter that Mariana has sent her. She's been honest with Anne Walker about her past relationship with Mariana, and she asks Anne Walker if it would be okay to meet with Mariana. And you can see that Anne Walker is somewhat wary of this. And I think we can all see that it's not a great idea, but at the same time, you know, she's a ray of sunshine and she wants to make Anne happy. So, and now I feel guilty about the possibility of the affair. We can also see in this episode that Mariana still has this kind of emotional chokehold over Anne Lister, particularly in the end scene where Mariana has sent quite a manipulative letter to Anne describing how they'll never see each other again, and she doesn't want to be a source of discomfort or annoyance for Anne, which you can see just how deeply this impacts Anne as well. And it's a complicated situation because Anne and Mariana's relationship is just, it's too intense to work. There's too much emotional turmoil between them for it to really kind of work as a long-term relationship. And Mariana quite clearly wants to kind of keep her hold over Anne. And yeah, I mean, it's getting intense. It is. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I especially enjoyed Tib and learning about Anne's fruity past. I did enjoy that a lot. As I say, I did think this episode was a little bit slower than the previous episode, but I still enjoyed every minute of it. And I can see at this stage they're setting everything up, the pieces on the chessboard for the incoming drama that's about to go down, and I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited and both guilty because I love the Annes and I don't want anything to kind of, you know, ruin their relationship, but also excited because it's Anne Lister kissing women in a passionate way. And yeah, I feel both guilty and excited, and that is what the ladies say about me. Okay guys, if you've seen episode 2 of season 2 of Gentleman Jack, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments section below. If you are a lesbian, if you are a woman who likes other women, come and join the Sapphic Underground Club. Just come and do it. If you don't want me to run away into the woods and start a new life where I don't make any videos, then you will join. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.